last quarter. Where was that in the first half?
Yeah, the first half was disappointing, particularly the first quarter. I think we really lost in that first quarter, and that's the psychology of football. Is we have to work out why we started like that. And but I think Fremantle were better for more of the game than we were. We had a good patch in the last quarter, but it was a disappointing effort by us today.
Did you feel you were a chance?
Oh yeah, we think we've got a chance in every game we've played, and we came over here with a pretty good team. We had a captain back, had Michael Hurley back, so we were confident to a point. But Freo are a good team, and they'd lost a couple in a row, so we knew it was a challenge, and it turned out that way.
Is it also a factor, James?
The heat? No. What was it? 18 degrees? No, it wasn't. 21 was it? Yeah.
Just look, your players seem to find a run as the crowd witness the show.
Yeah, I don't think the heat was a factor. We wouldn't use that as an excuse, no.
Was it psychological though, that sort of losing contested possessions versus quarter, lack of work rate? Was that all psychological or structural?
We lost our structure a couple of times, which was disappointing because we've talked about that. And they certainly dictated to our players where they went, which was disappointing. So structurally, the first quarter was very disappointing. I think we just didn't start the way we should have started. But there's a definite structural issue with the way our players were setting up, for sure.
But was it more psychological?
You'd have to probably think so. I think physical capability was there, so yeah.
Dustin Fletcher, what's the latest with him?
He's got a cork on his quad. We'll be confident he'll come up. They normally come up in 5 or 6 days, so we'll be confident that he'll play. It's disappointing where you get them. Sometimes you get bad corks and you just can't move too well.
On the other injury front, anybody else? Yeah.
Not at the moment, no. It's hard to say. With the new rules, players tend to show up a couple of days later, but we're pretty confident we'll have a full squad next week.
James, when before the Melbourne airport has been closed for Candy Cash, do you know how you're getting home?
No, we're not getting home tonight. We were on a flight at 8 o'clock, but we're here till at least 12 o'clock tomorrow and potentially longer. So, we'll have a different week before we play North Melbourne on Saturday. But the positive is that we'll stay together as a group and lick our wounds and do our review here and do our first training session probably here in Perth at the moment.
So you would do a recovery sort of thing tomorrow morning before you get on the plane?
Well, hopefully we get on the plane. I think it's a bit uncertain as to when exactly we're getting out.
How much of a complication or disruption is it in terms of next week to have to stay here?
I don't think so. I think that the guys are pretty adaptable and we'll all stay together. And if we're here for a day, we're here for 2 days. We'll work it out. It's not a bad time to spend some time together. But not ideal. But it's not going to be. It's not drastic anyway. We'll work it out.
James, I don't know. You probably wouldn't have set this as a target at the start of the season, but a top 4 hope's unrealistic.
We haven't spoken about where we'll finish all year. I think even when we're winning a few games early, we spoke about improvement, and we need to show that we can keep improving. In the last 3 weeks, the positive out of this week was probably the last 10 minutes, or the last half of the third quarter and the last quarter. We started to show the sort of footy we were playing earlier in the year. Now, against Richmond and Melbourne, we haven't played that sort of football. But I think our last 40 minutes of football was very good. And that's a positive because we've sort of come out of a form slump, we'd like to think, and we're back playing the sort of football we want to play. Hopefully that will keep going into next week against North Melbourne.
To win, I think both the inside 50 and the clearance counts. How do you sort of explain that in terms of the score?
Well, we've done it the last 3 weeks and lost the last 3 games, so we need to. But the positive thing out of, I said, the last 40 minutes, I think we used the ball a lot better into our forward 50 and actually started to look dangerous going into the forward line again, which we haven't for a few weeks.
James, have you ever sort of subscribed to the theory that there is sort of a honeymoon period for coaches? Like you bring a new coach in, you revitalise the place. A lot of people are saying the honeymoon is over, but maybe this last quarter is a sign that it isn't.
I don't think it's a honeymoon period. I think what we're talking about is sustained improvement that takes 2 or 3 years to build. There's no one at Essendon that I know of, and particularly amongst the coaching staff, that believe that we'd improved so far out of sight in the first part of the year. We need to keep improving, and we're not here for the next 6 months. We're not here for the next 12 months. We're here to build a side that it is competitive for the long term, and that doesn't happen in 6 months. And having been in football a long time, you see some good performances and bad performances, and we need to get our guys bigger, stronger, fitter, playing the style of footy we want them to play every week and every moment of the game. And they're not there yet, but they're getting better. And I think what I'm happy with is the last 40 minutes of this week showed that a bit of confidence back in the team that they can play the sort of football we'd like them to play.
Are you pleased with Ryan?
I think Paddy kicked 3 or 4 or 4 today, yeah, and that's great for Paddy. Showed a bit of form. He struggled a little bit early, but it was great that he kicked the 4 goals, but what I was very impressed with is his ability to defend, and he started to defend really well, which, whether he's been a bit flat, tired, I'm not sure, but I thought today was a much better game.
James, the hype about the club since your return has had positive effects like membership and everything else. Has it been detrimental at all in terms of on-field?
I don't think so, no. I don't think you can be detrimental when you've got 50,000 members, you've got new sponsors signing up. But I'll say to everybody that what we're building is a club that we want to be successful for a long time, and that doesn't take 6 months or 12 months. That takes a while to build. We have to use the players we've got, bring some new players in every draft, and train them and teach them the way we want to teach them. So I don't think it's detrimental. A bit of energy and passion around a group can never be seen as detrimental.
It's a big expectation, though, isn't there, this season?
Expectation, not from within. The expectation is we keep improving. If you improve enough week after week, then you'll win games of footy. Now, we haven't done that for 3 weeks in a row, so our fans, our supporters want us to win, and we want to win as well. And I think that we need to get back on the winning side of ledger very quickly, but we also need to just keep improving and keep getting better. It's a boring line, but if we get focused on winning and winning and winning, then we might make some decisions that aren't right.
Did the late change with Stan?
Yeah, Stan's had a sore shoulder. He's had one for 4 or 5 weeks, and he's played and not played, and we just need to get it right. We need to get his shoulder right, and I think he'll be right for next week. This is Stan's sort of ground, so it was a hard decision to make, but you can't afford to have injured players come into the game.
Did he come over?
He didn't come over, no. No, he didn't come. Yeah, we trained yesterday, and we just decided that he wasn't quite right. Thanks, guys.